Hello and welcome to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Today is March 22nd, 2018, and it's a Thursday. We're going to be going over Bitcoin on the 1 hour, and then we're going to be going over Bitcoin on the bigger time frames, talking about some potential reversals. And then after that, we'll get some altcoin requests, and then I'll go over my new website and show you kind of what we're doing over there because it's finally released. And I just want to, make it available to everybody. And then there's a discount at the end too. So stay tuned for that, if you watch through the whole stream. But welcome everybody. Should be a pretty good stream today. Let me just go ahead and get the link posted for the stream onto the Discord still, because we've still got a few members in the Discord because we're migrating all of the users over from the old to the new. So we just got to post this in the Discord too real quick. All right. And then we'll just get started here. Everyone post the stream. Okay. And then probably should do it on my Twitter too. Okay. Awesome. Now I can get as many people tuning in as possible today so that you can all learn and get some quality TA. So let's see here. Got a few people tuning in. Welcome from Belgium. Good to see you tuning in, Crypto Maniac. All right, cool. 37 watching. So that looks like we can probably start get going here on the stream. All right, so Bitcoin, everybody's favorite and everybody's least favorite. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame first of all, because this is a shorter time frame movement. This is kind of what a lot of the day traders are looking at and the smaller time frame traders. Me personally, I focus on the bigger picture moves when I do the majority of my trading, but we'll start with these smaller moves to kind of discuss the movement that's happened since really this month started here in March, because when the month started was over here. And we had a rising wedge right at the very beginning of this month. So this was this pattern right here, rising wedge pattern. And then we had the support break of this wedge, so it played out perfectly. So we had a sell-off down to the support levels of about $8,426. So that was a pretty big move. The percentage down was actually 27% on the downside to the first real bounce of support. And then from the next real bounce back down, when we kind of hit resistance here at 9,800 per coin, we had another 26% drop in value. So this wedge did play out with quite a bit of selling pressure after it was reached and the resistance was met. That's pretty normal. Sometimes you have overperformances on wedges. And it just kind of invalidated the inverse head and shoulders pattern here. Now, does that mean that Bitcoin still doesn't have a high potential to see a reversal here? No, that just means that the inverse head and shoulders reversal pattern didn't play out in this case. So, everything has been very standard movement, selling off of the rising wedge, coming back down to the 786 support levels between 7,200 and 7,600. And bouncing, because that's where there's the highest statistical probability for a bounce. When I teach Fibonacci, I always tell people, buy the 618 and the 786, because this is where banks buy between those two. Oops, that's the 88. Here we go. 786 and the 618. That's where banks buy. Unless it's like an altcoin, altcoins usually, because they're a little bit more bubbly than Bitcoin, meaning that the market cycles are way more parabolic and it retraces harder because they aren't as healthy as the Bitcoin trend yet. Then you could focus on the 786 or the 88 usually because they retrace really hard. But with Bitcoin, focus on the 786 and the 618 when you're trying to buy. So that's what happened here is a bunch of whales had buy orders. So the people that actually create the movement in the market, when there's enough pressure on the wrong direction, all the market makers or the players with large amounts of capital come in and it starts to move the market, or the smart traders, you could say, smart money. Comes in and, we saw the bounce right here, and it was about from the bounce up to the next resistance We saw another 25% on the upside. I actually traded this move on BitMEX, leveraging, and was able to make a very, very nice 96% return on investment with 5x leverage, I believe. I'd have to go check on the position, see the exact numbers, but almost made 100% off this little move here. So, you know, that was just, I bought the dip right here. I actually nailed the exact bottom and then set, I was like $5 away from the exact bottom. And then I set a stop loss at the next low. So basically, you know, when you're buying this much panic and there's that good of a risk to reward, you can use a super tight stop loss. That's why you buy so low, is because you can, you know, it's not very risky to take a position down there. So we had that nice significant bounce. So on the 1 hour time frame now, let's zoom in a little bit and count the shorter moves waves here. Okay. So first of all, on the downside move, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. And then we have ABC up, ABC. And then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Okay, so those are the down waves since we created the rising wedge. You know, that's how you count the downward movement. This is really just a big ABC correction out of this move right here. Big ABC. So if we just take this, and we go into the smaller time frame again, or zoom in, I mean, a little bit. We're already in the smaller time frame. And by the way, I switched my candlesticks over to bars. This is just because I liked counting waves on this better. I gave it a shot. I used to always like tell people that I hated bars, and I never used the bars over the candlesticks. And then like I tried them the other day, and it was really, really easy for me to count waves because it just takes out a lot of the fog or the unclarity kind of that has to do with candlesticks. And I'll still switch to candlesticks sometimes to try to catch candlestick patterns. But I'm starting to kind of really like the way that these bars work. It's easier for me to see the wave count using these. And it's just a little bit cleaner, more like textbook looking. So, you know, that's kind of why I switched those over if anybody's wondering. So the 1 hour cloud is proving to be support right here. We also have a little bit of oversold movement on the MACD. We're about negative 100, negative 87 oversold, somewhere in that range. From a perspective of fractals, this does look like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave and an ABC corrective down, A, B, C. And since we're already falling onto the support area, I wouldn't be surprised if this holds in this zone, because again, this was major support clear back here when we made this little inverse head and shoulder fractal. You know, everybody was talking about this inverse head and shoulders. Here's the left shoulder, here's the head, here's the right shoulder. So when we made this little inverse head and shoulders, this was a major support zone here at 90 or 8,400 per coin. So, and then just above that, we had the next major support at 9,000. So when we had 9,000 become resistance, we can now expect this support zone to hold and become support over this trend. And there's a couple reasons for this. Let's go into the bigger time frame and talk about like, you know, how oversold Bitcoin is in the bigger time frame. If you go to the 4-day, we're basically, you know, negative 477 oversold on a macro scale, right? And then if you go even lower to like the 3-day, again, we're oversold and crossing, negative 500. 1 day, oversold and crossed once, and going to oversold and cross again at negative 400. Like, yes, we do have a lot of resistance, but we haven't had a significant bounce since we topped out at 20,000. So a lot of people are like, okay, well, this is the 2013 fractal. If this is the 2013 fractal, if this fractal repeats, you guys, here's what happened in this fractal. We went parabolic, so we started our market cycle. We hit resistance. And then we came down to just below the 618 Fibonacci and in between the 786 and bounced all the way up to the 236, okay? See, this was an oversold bounce, okay? Now the movement that we've seen recently in our current market cycle, let's just take this and analyze comparatively. We'll pull this down, we'll take our Fibonacci tool, go from the low to the high. Okay, so we had a very similar thing happen. We fell below the 618 Fibonacci, okay, and in between the 786. But look, we haven't even gotten close to the 236 yet. So even if this was a complete retracement of that previous fractal, which is the common argument that most people are saying as to why Bitcoin would go down to 3 or those levels, even if that is true, we still need to have an oversold bounce up to the 236 between 14,000 and 15,000 per coin. Something like this, an A and then a B up here, and a C correction down to the 786 and the 88% retracement. Personally, so that would put you, at like 3,000 or so before the end of the year. But personally, I don't see that as the most probable outcome due to the amount of liquidity in the markets and the amount of hype that's coming around cryptocurrency. I see this trend as holding due to the amount of demand there is. And so I think it will, between the 618 and the 50% retracement here should hold fine. And then we should go up to these higher levels and maybe make a cup and handle and see new all-time highs. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's very possible for us to be breaking 20,000 after we head up towards 14. So once we can break this major resistance, I think that the market will just be so bullish at that point that we won't have the momentum to bring us back down to the $3,000 levels again. So, but that's just my perspective on the actual movement here that's happening on a macro scale and then on a micro scale. So, you can take and learn from wherever you want to, but this is how I perceive the markets, and this is what I'm putting my capital and betting my money on, right? So if you are worried about the bigger retracement, if you are concerned about possibly seeing those lows, then take some profits when we go up to the 236, downsize a little bit. Me personally, I'll just be using a stop loss instead, so that if we did have a break downwards, I just get stopped out, at the 382 at like 13,000 or somewhere around about there. And then, I don't care if it goes down to 3 because a large portion of my capital will get stopped out, so I can buy the panic down at those levels again. So that's kind of how you play and how you manage the movement and the retracement that we're experiencing, so that you don't get stuck, selling right here, because a lot of people got stuck selling right here just because it's a market cycle and they don't understand it, so they really want to sell the bottom due to the amount of FUD and all the other people doing it, right? If everybody else is doing something, it's crowd thinking, and they can't almost help themselves. So, but yeah, as far as the Bitcoin chart goes, looks amazing. We do need to break this resistance. I personally think we're going up to the 236, or at least in between the 236 and the 382 to about 14,000. We're extremely oversold, haven't seen a real bounce like we did, in the previous market cycle here. So in this previous market cycle, we saw a crazy bounce clear up to the previous highs, very close to previous highs, and we haven't had that type of an oversold bounce yet. So that's what I'm expecting. That's what I see this as. And then I personally think that we'll see a bigger picture reversal, because my wave count is this. I'll show you, hold on. Take this. My wave count is that this ABC correction is the bottom. This reminds me a lot of the NASDAQ, when it did its crazy cycle. Here, I'll just bring this up really quick, and then we'll go into the biggest time frame, like a month, because we're NASDAQ. This reminds me, crypto, or Bitcoin at least, reminds me a lot of this move in the NASDAQ. This took 10 years, but it's a very similar market cycle. It looks exactly the same. Big old falling wedge like this. And A, B, C correction. And then let's go right back to Bitcoin and show you again so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, and we have to go into the smaller time frame because this isn't the NASDAQ as far as, oh shoot, actually I need to go to the Bitstamp chart because I'm on my 1 hour time frame chart. There we go. And this looks the same to me, right? A big parabolic market cycle, falling wedge, and an ABC correction. And the NASDAQ has broken all-time highs and, you know, continued seeing upward movement since it made that same exact fractal. And so I'm expecting the trend to see continuation, meaning that once we get up to 14,000, we'll probably go back down to 11 or 12 again, do something like this, like a 1, 2, go, oops. Oh yeah, a 1, 2, go up for 14, 3, 4, 5, something like that. And then we'll see a little ABC back down to support again, something like this. And then I'm expecting to see continuation in this trend. It'll be, you know, it'll just look something like this. It'll take a minute because of the Elliott wave structure. It'll have to pump and then pull back. But I see this trend as having continuation in the future. There's just way too much demand for crypto to not have the trend continuate, right? So that's kind of my perspective on everything that's been happening and what will happen on Bitcoin. So let's get some altcoin requests in the live dashboard. All right. Let's see. XRP, perfect. We'll start off with XRP and the altcoin requests then. So yeah, this is kind of what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin. A nice hard bounce and then high potential for continuation out of this trend. You know, it's just, this is how markets move. They pump, they pull back, and then they see continuation. As long as there's long-term demand, and nobody can argue that cryptocurrency doesn't have long-term demand, because it does. There's a huge need, you know, half the world unbanked, and I could go over all those things. Then this trend will see continuation. All right, so let's go to XRP, as that is our first request, and then other people in dashboard can start dropping requests and stuff, and then we'll be going over those as well. Let me just remove all drawing tools. So XRP has seen quite the quite the sell-off. I actually tweeted people to sell this right here when it was at $3. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I actually tweeted out for people to sell Ripple when it was up at $3 here. And then we saw, let's see, how much of a dump since. Let's just do a little calculation here. Since then, we saw an 83% move. So this is what I talk about when I say with altcoins, they're a little bit more bubbly, or their market cycles aren't as liquid as Bitcoin. That's because, you know, the only reason that these are pumping is because Bitcoin creates the hype for them, right? So once everybody starts getting excited about Bitcoin, some of that money gets convinced to be putting into altcoins. And so it's basically like when Bitcoin's going up, then altcoins do. But altcoins, you know, again, they're less liquid, so they retrace harder. Since the bottom of the previous market cycle here, meaning that I took my Fibonacci and drew from 13 cents up to $3, we did retrace back down to the lowest retracement here, the 88%, right? So it's already, in my opinion, the majority of the selling pressure is gone, right? We've already shook out the majority of the selling. You know, you move 88% down, you guys, and like, who's left to sell? Nobody, they all sold, you know, so it could retrace back down to the top of the previous cycle. It could do a full retracement of the cycle, which would be about 38 cents per Ripple. Either way, from a Fibonacci standpoint and from a risk to reward standpoint, anything below this 50% retracement begins to favor buying, okay? And anything above the 50% retracement begins to favor selling. So that's your basic rule of risk to reward. There's no argument for that. It's just statistics. If you want to have a losing strategy, buy above the 50% retracement and sell below the 50% retracement. If you want to have a winning strategy, buy below the 50% and sell above the 50%. That's all you have to know about risk to reward. It's very simple. And so if you're down at the 88%, look how risky it is to sell down here, and look how riskless it is to buy. So, quick TA on Ripple in the smaller time frames as well for you. Let me just go to the 4-hour. Come on, chart. Okay, there we go. This was a huge ABC correction. So an A, B, C. Okay. And is that a double bottom, or did we get a new low? That looks like we did break our previous low a little bit here. So actually this looks more like this. I'll move my C like this, and then we'll count the subwaves and our wave down. Counting subwaves is just important to make sure that you have everything counted, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then again, this will be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So that counts your subwaves up very nicely here. And this is starting to make what looks to be a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hour. Oops. Okay, let me just take this, auto scale, pull down. There we go. So okay, here we go. Yeah, so this looks like this. Here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, here's your head, and then here's your neckline. So with Ripple, you had your bottom reached right here, your short-term bottom at 56 cents, a hard bounce all the way up to $1.24, and then a slow sell-off, slow sell-off, slow sell-off, slow sell-off, all the way back down to 53 cents, and then the potential for an inverse head and shoulders right here with the neckline at 70 cents. So if 70 cents is broken, the head and shoulders target, you take, stack it on top of the neckline. First head and shoulders target would be 86 cents. So from 70 up, that's a 23% gain. And then you usually see overperformance on those. So, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we bounced up towards $1 again with Ripple in the next, by mid-April, we'll be in that range again is likely if this inverse head and shoulders plays out here. So, all right, let's go get some other coins. Oh wow, we've got a lot in here now to choose from. XEM. All right, so new economy movement. Let's go on to the 3-day. And let's remove all drawing tools. So this one is a sleeping giant, and there's a lot of coins that are sleeping giants, quote, quote, but this one has a lot of volume coming in, you guys, which is very key of a strong move coming. We have a huge volume spike coming right here at 18 cents. We've had quite a bit of volatility down at these lows. This is a very, very clear ABC correction. We've started a new wave set, so that means that we're inside of the 3 wave right now and have incompleted waves. So there's upside left in this market. And as far as the actual like patterns go, let's use a 1 day. It's probably better. As far as the actual patterns go, we can take this and draw a big falling wedge that occurred. Just use something like that. This fits up the wedge nicely. Okay, so we had a breakout of the falling wedge pattern. And, you know, sufficient volume at the breakout. We're oversold and turning on the MACD. We're right on top of previous support in the wave of the last market cycle, which is right here. Here's previous support. And, you know, it just looks like it needs to see some bouncing at least. Look how oversold that is. So your next stops are going to be up at previous resistance levels. Again, that's around $1 for new economy movement as well. So, you know, definitely one to be keeping your eyes on. If you're a long-term holder, you should be happy that you didn't sell the bottom because you will get a bounce over the next little while. And, you know, as far as chart patterns go, this looks like a very healthy trend that should see some nice continuation. So, okay. Let's go with XMR. I'm sorry if my stream went on and offline again. Somebody's saying that it did. Yes, the VIP members got information about my Bitcoin trade. All right, so yeah, XMR is one that I posted publicly on my TradingView. So if you follow me on TradingView, then you have this prediction already. But this is basically a big one wave in XMR, and XMR is actually like, it held better than pretty much any coin on the market. Like XMR held support very well in this wave here, and its trend looks very nice against the Bitcoin chart. It also just looks like a very steady accumulation. So it's been averaging more percentage gains than Bitcoin has consistently, really since 2017, or even right back here when it made this fractal right here. When it made this fractal right here and went up to $15, it's been overperforming Bitcoin ever since, or like late 2016. So it's been doing better percentage gains, you know, which is pretty rare. Not a lot of coins just have a steady uptrend like that against Bitcoin. So that is something to take note of and, you know, think about. So yeah, this is a big one wave. A 1 and a 2. Oh, I hate it when I do that. Oops. Okay. A 1 and R2. And then we're going to start making our subwaves in the next wave set. So that's something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then an ABC. And then in the bigger picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It'll see continuation on the upside. That's the main point, right? Is that we're going to bottom out and then see some continuation and hold support. Do you see how the trend, like, the chart, like if you kind of look at the chart, right, because trends see continuation if they have demand. Trends see continuation if they have demand. So watch that parabolic curve and let it hold. For some reason, my OBS just said that I disconnected and reconnected. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening there, but Stream Health says it's working. So hey, thanks, Phil Wan. I appreciate that. It's one of my favorite shirts, actually. All right, OMG. OMG coin. Bittrex. All right, so let's just take this. This looks to be like a very good potential for a double bottom pattern. It actually played a very, very, very nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C down. And we do have a solid falling wedge pattern here as well. Ethereum Classic did a falling wedge similar to this one. Okay, and we've broken out of the falling wedge. We have an oversold MACD. We double bottomed on major support of the previous trend, aka the top of the one wave. So this is a one wave for OMG. I've compared this fractal to the Tesla fractal before, which I'm bullish on the Tesla stock, and I think that we'll see kind of a similar move happen in this one. All right. So yeah, that's like a 1, 2, 3. That's what we're expecting, a 1, 2, 3, and we're making the subwaves inside of that 3 wave right now. So OMG looks great. And it's one of the top coins. It's been leading the market too. It bounces really hard when it bounces. So definitely keep your eyes on OMG as well. All right. Tron. Sounds about like Tron holders. Just kidding. So Tron is doing a similar pattern as the rest of the market cap. All these double bottoms happening. It's also oversold. Has been for quite some time now. This one didn't make the falling wedge, really. I mean, kind of a little one right here, actually. Yeah, it did. Never mind. Yeah, it did. I just didn't initially see it. So yeah, there's a little falling wedge as well in this one that we've broken out of. So similarly, like how we broke out of this big falling wedge right here, it bounced all the way up to here. Now we've broken out of this falling wedge, we can see upside continuation. If we go to the 4-hour time frame, this looks like a potential bullish flag pattern. So Forex traders are very used to this pattern. Basically, if the resistance of the downward channel is broken, right here, if this downward channel resistance is broken, then you'll see a move upwards the same height as where the flag was formed. So you take the height of the flagpole, put it on top of the point at break. So if we do have a breakout right here of resistance in this downwards channel, like this, here's the flag pattern. I'll just draw it up at the top too so you guys can see it. So that's what a flag pattern looks like. And if it breaks, then your next stop is at about 5.1 cents. You know, basically back up to the top of this little bounce right here when we bottomed out previously. So yeah, this looks very good. Nice volume spikes coming in at each low. So there's no reason that this won't see a reversal as well. It's been consolidating for a long time too. So that means that there's been accumulation because support holds. So people are buying, you know, there's whales and there's people that are accumulating this for the long term. You can see that in the chart. When it comes down, hits a bottom, it bounces. There we go. All right. Oh, wow. It looks like I've drawn on this one recently, actually. So let's see how my previous prediction did. Oh, wow. Hey, look at that. Looks like it's playing out pretty much exactly how I expected it to. This was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, and then ABC down. And then on the down wave, you had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down from the B to the C, right? And that's very common. And then there was that falling wedge. We've broken out of it, came back and double bottomed. And now we are seeing some upside continuation. On the 1 hour, it looks like we have, this reminds me a lot of the nano chart actually. You take this and you have another bull flag forming as well. So if we can have that resistance broken, then we're expecting new highs. Also, look at these volume spikes coming in right here and here, as in comparison to previously. We haven't seen a volume spike that big since, let's see here. Yeah, we haven't seen a volume spike that big since we were going up for the 3 and the 5 wave, right? So when we went parabolic back here and went from about 50 cents up to $2.13, we haven't seen volume spikes anywhere as close as the ones that we're seeing now. And honestly, they are bigger too. The volume spikes that we're seeing now are bigger than the ones that we saw back there. So yeah, this is likely to start a new bullish market cycle. And you know, on the smaller time frames, we're just watching that bullish flag pattern. Yeah, I'm sorry about it going offline a couple times. I'm trying to do this stream using my hotspot on my phone actually, because my internet was being strange. So I apologize for that, but it should be watchable. I mean, it's only happened a couple times, so, and it comes back on really quickly. ICX. ICX was a similar story. Looks like I did some TA on this previously. Oh, wow. Hold on, let me just... Yeah, so Mike, you see a lot of falling wedges in bullish markets. You don't know where the exact bottom of the reversal is, but if the wedges are popping up, then that means sellers are getting squeezed. So even if you do have a falling wedge, then you pop out and then you go in for another low, it's likely to be making another falling wedge as it goes in for the next low. So you just buy the bottom of the next wedge and wait for the pop. So yeah, we are expecting a bigger trend reversal due to major support on Bitcoin. If you just draw a trend line from connecting the lows on Bitcoin, we have a very, very big major support trend that hasn't been broken. So we're watching that for the reversals and then the wedges as well. So it's just oversold, and that's kind of how we expect the reversal to happen and not just be a temporary pop, Mike. All right. So ICX, let me just show you what happened here. I drew my TA, an ABC correction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC. And, you know, very nice. It looks like it's actually playing out my prediction highly accurately already. We've already broken out, fallen back to support, and look at that. We're starting to go in for that one wave. And look at all this volume. Huge spike upwards in volume. You have a crossing MACD on the upside. So bullish momentum is coming in. And this just got added to like 3 major exchanges, I believe. So, you know, this is likely to see some very nice parabolic movement, you guys. I hold Icon, one of my, one of the people that taught me a lot about trading early on, way early on when everything was just getting started and Bitcoin was like under $3,000. One of the people that was like teaching me a lot about trading and stuff told me to check out Icon the other day, and I set my sell orders. I believe my first sell order triggered at $2, and then I didn't have any lower sell orders than that, so I just kind of held through this extra dip at $1.50, but I'm already back up into profit and above. So we're just kind of waiting and watching to let this cycle play out here for Icon. But yeah, I'm expecting a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of this, and that falling wedge had a lot of, you know, volume coming in at the breakout, so it's likely to see a strong upward move. If we can get past all this resistance, because we do have a little structure of resistance right here, but that much volume is likely to get through that resistance. So all right, LBC, this is one that I posted on my TradingView publicly as well as a signal for the public people that aren't part of the VIP program. Come on. Apologize for the lag spike here. All right, here we go. So looks like I drew some TA here on library credits as well. We didn't pop out quite as high as I initially expected us to. We did break out. I drew this one before we had any of this structure. I drew my buy zone right here, this little box. And then we started to break out of that structure here. And again, yeah, we didn't quite see as high as I was expecting it to. We met resistance closer to 55 cents and then came in for another low at 18 cents. I'm still holding my library credits in this area because I see this as doing a very similar pattern as Digibyte and you know, all of those coins that have already done their one waves and still need to make the sub waves of the three wave in the big picture. So yeah, I'm still very bullish on library credits. It's oversold right now, really oversold and turning on the MACD. We had a falling wedge breakout right here as well. This was a falling wedge that we had a clear breakout of. And because of the risk to reward, I suspect this to be the last low that we will see in library credits. And we should see a nice bounce and some upward movement from here, you know, making those three-wave subwaves. I personally think it will go for new all-time highs as everything else starts to pick up again. But, you know, time will tell on that. So it's a position I'm holding, one that I posted publicly as a signal. So, you know, you can check my trading view for the original signal if you like. All right. Let's go with NXT. Lots of people wondering about NXT. Next, Tether. All right, so let me just take these. I don't know what all that is doing here. Okay, there we go. So sometimes with falling wedge patterns, you have to draw them a little bit differently. I've noticed that occasionally you'll have a chart that just goes like, pfft, and then it starts consolidating in a range. You know, it just like dumps and then it starts consolidating in a range. So with this one, that's kind of what the idea behind drawing your wedge like this at the bottom is you wait until it actually starts consolidating clearly, and then you put your wedge structure. So that's what I did here. We've broken out of the wedge, and we're falling back onto support. This one actually didn't go in for another lower low, so that's good. It didn't really have much else, you know, anywhere else to go because this one has went very low. It's right back onto the previous wave set here, and it's extremely oversold. It has been consolidating for a while, so we don't know how long this consolidation will last, but I do suspect this trend to continue overall, you know, with all this volume and the patterns that I'm seeing. And again, this is just a one wave here, a one wave, oops, a one, and then there's your two. And then this is the one wave and the three wave. So we still need to make some subwaves up into a higher degree of trend here, meaning that we need to get up past highs, you know, previous all-time highs. But again, we just need to start making higher highs on the rest of the market cap. Until we start to make those higher highs, this is just considered consolidation. But I will say the risk to reward favors buying. So, all right. BCH. And yes, there is a potential inverse head and shoulders on this one as well. Very similar to what Ripple was doing. Okay, so let's go over Bitcoin Cash or Bcash or Bcrash or whatever you want to call it. Everybody has different names for it. I'm not gonna judge. So this one is also doing falling wedges, you guys. What a surprise. We had resistance met at around 4,200 per coin, and then we had a very, very, very significant sell-off down to 780 per coin, made another falling wedge after meeting resistance at 1,600 per coin. The bottom was hit at 828. So let's see if we can start making some higher highs in this, because this would be a great spot for a potential reversal for Bitcoin Cash. So yeah, we'll just see if it starts going like this, making higher highs, buy a dip, you know, wait until it makes a new low in a higher high trend, in an uptrend. Right now, it looks like a great spot to see a reversal, but we haven't started making higher highs yet. A little bit right here with this higher high compared to these downtrending moves right here. But like big picture, we've been on a downtrend here since 4,100. But again, large downtrends have to reverse at some point. I'm a big picture reversal trader actually, so I focus on averaging in to these points of reversal and putting the most in where the highest potential for reversal is. Right now, the market cap is really oversold, you guys. It has a very high probability to see reversals, even if it's a short-term reversal and continues in for a bigger bear trend, which I don't think is probable. We need to see some bouncing at the very least in these oversold zones. So yeah, we're watching for higher highs. Great spot to see a reversal here. Major support has been, you know, reached at the previous market cycle right here, right? So there's that cycle right there, and that became support now. So looks very healthy. All right, EOS. All right, so EOS is doing a similar thing as Icon. You have that first market cycle, a big ABC falling wedge, and then a break out of that wedge with a bunch of volume coming in. This one is actually, you know, when everything else is down, this one's still up. So this one is leading the buying pressure, meaning that a lot of money came into this really quickly. So yeah, here's that falling wedge that we broke out of. And it's holding support better than a lot of the coins here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this trend continues up to the major resistance of $8 or $8.30 again, before coming back down to test support at like 5-ish. But as far as the larger degree of trend, this is a one wave, you know, so you just pull the chart down the side here, think in terms of what is this going to do in the future, see that it's really oversold and has a big volume spike, count this as a one wave, 1, 2, and then realize that we need a 3 out of this, you know, and so we're making the sub waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll go up for new highs and, you know, potentially see some nice continuation here in EOS. That volume spike is a good sign, you guys. These volume spikes look nice out of these falling wedges. So, all right, and then Ethereum, we'll go over and touch up Ethereum one more time, and then we'll wrap this stream up. I've got a discount to give you guys at the end, and then I'll show you the new website. The TradingView course is also completely available. So if you want to learn how to use TradingView and, you know, become proficient in using TradingView, then you can get that course. There's 7 videos and a bonus video with extra information. So yeah, I'll give you the details and the discounts on that in just a minute. But we'll go over Ethereum here and, you know, then call it a day. So, all right. First, we want to start off by drawing our lowest trend line. Our lowest trending support is right here. As you can see, we've bounced off that many times at 43, at 136, at 220, at 290, at 470. So it's just been a very, very strong accumulation support trend line. I believe that this is where the major whales and the major developers of these projects and these coins set their buy orders, is on these lower major trend lines, and they just let it accumulate. Anytime it touches it, they buy a little bit. You can actually set alerts, and you know, you can learn this in the TradingView course too if that's something you're interested in. But you can set alerts, right? so that if it hits a trend line, it'll text your cell phone and then you can go buy it, right? So you can learn stuff like that in the TradingView course. But yeah, that's the major trend line that you're watching here on Ethereum. This was an ABC correction that happened. We can count subwaves here. Some people have all sorts of different wave counts here for the Ethereum, but let me just show you what is my primary count. A, B, C correction, like that, okay? And, again, this one also is in a bigger falling wedge pattern as well. So if we just draw connecting support and connecting resistance, falling wedge, so sellers are getting squeezed right now, meaning that selling pressure is dying out. Okay, see down here. And we're oversold and turning on the MACD. So yeah, this looks very healthy, looks completely normal. We had this bullwhick right here, tested support of this little area before we went for the major bull run. This little area right here. And it just looks like a healthy trend. Ethereum is a great project. It's going to see new all-time highs. It's going to continue on its uptrend. I don't care what anybody says about FUD. I don't care what anybody says. I trade patterns and I will continue to trade them because that's how I make money trading cryptocurrency. So Ethereum will see continuation, you guys. It's going to be a great year. I really do believe that for cryptocurrency. And I'm excited to see how they react and play out over the next month or two as we potentially see an overall reversal in the entire market cap. Checking back at the Bitcoin here, we did see bouncing off the support levels that I was talking about at the beginning of this stream. So that's good. Let's see if we can break, ride this Ichimoku here between 8,800 and possibly go up for 9,000 and maybe make some new higher highs again here on the smaller time frame for Bitcoin as well. So the website is up and the TradingView course is completely available. So let me just drop a link in the live dashboard for you guys. If you want to get 20% off on the TradingView course, you can use running for any of my VIP members. This is up and going. So you can go ahead and log into the new website. You should be getting you got an email, so check your spam. And that will have your login information. If you already are a VIP member, you can go ahead to the new website, highaltitudecrypto.io, and log in on the right-hand side here. If you're not a VIP member, you can sign up today. Go ahead and click the About page, or actually, you just go to the home page on my website. And if you scroll down a little bit here, you can see where I give my information if you want to learn for free. All the free content, that's just my Twitter and my YouTube. And then the TradingView course right here, but down here it goes over the exact VIP information, what you get, my 3 different options. The mastermind, I just freed up a lot of the mastermind space, so we've got available areas to get into the mastermind. That comes with all of the stuff that comes in the lifetime membership, and then you get 12 weeks of one-on-one time with me, and once that runs up, you just get to keep your lifetime membership. So the mastermind is a great opportunity if you want to get some live setting with me and actually learn how to do this stuff in a more one-on-one setting where you can ask me direct questions. I also do this cool thing in the mastermind where I have a portfolio and I let people copy it. So I just have a Binance portfolio and you can literally just copy all my trades in my Binance. I show you how I manage my portfolio. You can see it grow. You can see, during the corrections, how I handle selling into Tether, how I take profits, all of those things. So the mastermind's really great. If it isn't something that you're interested in, the lifetime is also a really good option. Comes with, you've got your table of contents here in the lifetime, and then you've got your VIP 1 year as well. If you just want to test the waters and get in this, watch some of the more beginner videos and kind of get an idea for trading and, if it's something for you. So that's all my content. If you're interested in that, go ahead and use that coupon at checkout for 20% off. Again, that's only available until the end of this month for that coupon. I appreciate everybody tuning in today. I know it's been pretty crazy during the correction. I know that you guys are real troopers, and have been just trying to learn and make the most out of this. If you have that mindset where you're trying to learn and actually continue to profit and become a good trader, corrections like this are very, like, big picture. A correction like this, you're going to look back at this correction and laugh. You know, you're going to be like, oh, I was scared. I was literally scared, you know? So once you actually educate yourself, and if you've got the mindset like a lot of my followers do, to try to learn this and focus on becoming a good trader and making good decisions, corrections like these actually start to excite you. For me, it's been fun to buy into this dip. So, you know, you'll look back at this down the future and then, you know, down the road and realize that it was just a learning experience, just like anything else in life. You can only take it and make it a learning experience, or never learn from it at all and not reap the benefits of it. So if you do want to, you know, learn how to become better at trading and all of that, check out my website. Thank you all for tuning in today. And as always, stay profitable out there.